Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's review is the anticipated game Ghost of Tsushima, made by Sucker Punch, which just released this year, July 17th. So buckle your seatbelts and enjoy the ride because this game is going to blow your mind. So guys, let's start off with the storyline. Ghost of Tsushima is an imaginary tale told with made-up characters, but is based on the very real invasion of Japan by the Mongol Empire in 1274 that began on the island of Tsushima. You take control of Jin Sakai. He starts off like a samurai before a disastrous defeat quickly teaches him that perhaps the honorable but restrictive ways of the samurai code might not be enough to deal with this new existential threat. Ghost of Tsushima resolves around inner conflict as Jin's formative teachings push up against his need to save his homeland at any cost. It is amazing right off the bat and gets better and better, and Jin isn't the most charismatic from other protagonists. The English voice cast is great all around. What is one of the best additions to the game is the music, which seamlessly shifts from peaceful and ambient shakuchi flutes to stealth moments, to thunderous takio drums once blades start brawling. It always intensifies whatever emotion a scene is trying to produce. Okay guys, now it's time to get into the gameplay. Ghost of Tsushima's combat is like a mixture of the Batman Arkham series, the pre-Origins Assassin's Creed, Shadow Die Twice, and the entire library of Kurosawa films. And as mixtures tend to be, the results are extraordinary. From the outset, it's pretty basic. Light attacks, heavy attacks, a block button, the dodge button, etc. All stuff that will sound familiar. The glue, though, that holds this combat system together and allows it to remain interesting the whole way through is the addition of stances, each of which is suited to deal with a different weapon type. When it's at its best to combat in Ghost of Tsushima, it's fast, chaotic, tactical, and feels true to the tale of being a solo, hyper-skilled, but outnumbered samurai. The little touches also go a long way towards combat exquisite feel, in addition to bringing out a little more of visual spectacle. You could barely see on the visual on-screen HUD, and the camera always stays really tight, so you can really get a close-up view of all the action. Hostiles have clear audio tells so that even if you can't see them, you know when to dodge or block and when fatal attacks are going to happen. But the most rewarding part is that there's no traditional level established stat progression, which is great, and here's why. When you get stronger in Ghost of Tsushima, it's not because invisible numbers went up and now you deal more damage and take less when you're hit. It's because your techniques got better and now you have better ways to deal with tougher opponents, like blocking attacks that you couldn't block before. Learning to use techniques effectively feels amazing as a result. You won't ever run into that problem of wandering into an area or taking on a mission that you're under-leveled for. Because you haven't done enough grinding, you'll never get one-shot by an archer who's 5 levels higher than you, or have to spend 5 minutes chopping down a sword counterpart of a bullet sponge. This system really impacted me because Ghost of Tsushima's difficulty always manages to feel appropriate no matter what point in the campaign I was at. Hostiles do become tougher, and you do need to improve your gear by upgrading your sword, armor, and charms to meet the difficulty curve. But the stat improvements from gear always felt secondary to the skills that you acquire, and the challenge always felt reasonable even when I bumped the difficulty to lethal mode, which makes enemies way more aggressive. You guys don't want to underestimate the lethal mode. It's a good thing that the blade-to-blade combat in Ghost of Tsushima is so good, because Jin's ninja-inspired stealth does not hold up its end of the deal. It works on an incredibly basic level, but the real problems arise once you get detected. Enemies just don't know how to handle it. It's like if you do anything other than just fight once you break stealth. Jin's stealth tools are also very helpful. Also, if you want to go in non-stealth, where there are most enemies, you could trigger a standoff. Basically, when the enemy is about to attack you, you have to release. You could kill up to 5 hostiles with a standoff, and it also gives you a bunch of resolve. But there's also a risk, because if you miss, then you lose a bunch of health, and you have a bunch of angry opponents looking at you. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the best features in the game. Now it's time for the open world! Open world games could often feature some of the most beautiful virtual landscapes there are, and Ghost of Tsushima is right up there with the best of them. It may not quite meet the promise of its 2018 gameplay review trailer, but this is still a stunningly gorgeous game with great open world design. It takes care not to disturb the view with obstructive UI to point you towards locations of interest, and instead uses subtle signals to direct you. Your horse! How can I forget the horse? Your horse is the main way of traveling in Tsushima, and you could even call it by whistling. You could even name it in the beginning of the game. You could name it Kage for saddle, Sora for sky, and Nobu for trust. Guys, you have to respect the horse. It takes you everywhere, absolutely everywhere you need to go. So guys, let's close this off with the side missions. The regular ones are Tales of Tsushima and character side missions. Tales of Tsushima is just you going to people and doing what they need. The character side missions, however, are their story arc. It helps them build their personality throughout each mission. The mythic tales are the most important ones. You go to a musician somewhere in Tsushima and they tell you the tale of that mythic ability, and all of them are very hard. Let's just say they're all a boss fight. I hope you have your character ready. I just want to say that this game is very amazing, and I was mind blown most of the time about the environment itself and the combat. I give this game a 10 out of 10. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to my channel today to become the best samurai you can ever become. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.